Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Suddenly Silver. I'm Chevron, Protoss in the top left corner, and my adversary this game is going to be Loriak, the red, also Protoss, in the lower right corner. So while I'm casting this, I'm about to go to bed, and it is today. I forgot what day it is. Today it is a Thursday, and I have officially become a redhead. My hair is still very blonde, but my head is fairly red. This is because I was on a boat the whole day, chaperoning my wonderful guests around the island of Malta. I swam in the Blue Lagoon and even shot some underwater videos. All in all, it was quite a nice day, but sadly my head is a little red. I was going to say my red is a little head, which makes no sense, which can be expected with a red head. So I'm excused from that, and in the meantime let's follow this scouting probe as we are wont to do. Now, before this game, I had played several team games just with me and two mates, and we were doing 3v3s, just basically goofing off, and what I did was make Blink Stalkers. And in that game, in that series of games, I've discovered that I really like Blink Stalkers. They're just so much fun to play with. When you're in a smallish engagement, you can do the pro micro where you blink out your stalkers that are under fire, and thus winning you the game. Of course, you can also blink up ramps, and with a mothership core this becomes so much easier to do early in the game. So I made a fast blink stalker build. I think this has probably been around since 2010, but I figured it out by myself. Basically it means get a gateway, get a cyber core as soon as possible, get the Twilight Council with blink, and then just make stalkers. Nothing too complicated, but it works pretty nicely on one base, and this is what I'm going to attempt in this game. Now, what I saw with the scouting probe, so it's at this first building of Loriak. His name is Loriak. This first building of Loriak is going to be a forge, which is a bit unusual. We know the forge fast expand build. We would expect the forge around here, and also not really against Protoss. So what does this lead me to believe? It leads me to believe that he is going to cannon rush me. So this probe, of course that realization happened in 0.5 milliseconds because I'm a pro at thinking, and I don't speak as fast as I think because my red is very head. Yes, my red is head. Why the hell not? So this probe here is scouting out. It was here. So all the obvious places for a first pylon of a cannon rush have been accounted for, yet no cannons are apparent. My first scouting probe, I hide it in here, so in a little bit it can poke back and see what is going on. In the meantime, I'm going to continue my build as it gets a cyber core up fairly soon, and even if he's going to cannon rush me, I will have a stalker which will really hinder his build. Look at that. There is the Loriak probe. I do not see it at this point in the game, but I do scout his base here and see he's getting a really late gateway and he doesn't have that much probes. So something is fishy up. Either he's still going to cannon rush me or he's just really bad. Both are fine because the window for a cannon rush has sort of passed. I'm working on getting a stalker out. Not quite yet. Working on getting the Twilight Council out, which of course by itself is amazing at defending cannon rushes. My probes are under attack. This is because it's not doing anything and it's going to run on home. Here at this point I first see the cannon rush. 2 cannons going down, and I'm going to dispatch 6 probes to do something about it. I see a fair amount more cannons are being warped in. I don't feel I can destroy this, so I'm going to focus on taking down his probe instead. These cannons are fairly far away from my mineral line, so I should be safe for the moment. Taking 1 cannon down and then moving away and losing just the 1 probe. So at this point I have a Twilight Council. This is a little bit superfluous. This is not going to do so much against the cannon rush, but my first stalker is out, managing to kill his probe that's going to come in here. So there's cannons here, but at this point in time they're not really that much of a problem. As per normal, Cybernetics Core is doing the warp gate research, and I'm just going to get some more stalkers. Foregoing the blink research for now because blink is not really going to do that much against cannons, and I'm going to have to deal with this first. Also, him going so heavily into cannons means he's going to be behind fairly far in economy, so I shouldn't have to worry about any kind of actual army. Now, this mothership core is going to come out. It's not going to be doing anything. Ooh, look, he's sending in 3 more probes. Fortunately, I have 2 stalkers, which managed to just not quite take out these probes, which is a pity because now more cannons are going to go down. This mothership core needs to regenerate some energy for the photon overcharge. Need 30 more energy, and then this becomes the cannon to rule all cannons. Got 2 stalkers here, putting them in hold position so they just don't run into the cannons. This one could have moved could have moved 1 step so it could kill this one, but of course I'm working on getting pylons and more stalkers out. Forge here for myself to get some cannons of my own out. Cannons of my own, yes, that's a good mix-up. No, some cannons of my own, yeah, that's good. I don't know what's up. My brain isn't working. My head is red. screw that. So this is a little bit iffy. He is getting forward cannons up, and I didn't manage to kill his cannon. He's going to take down my gas here, and this one will be trouble if it goes down. I'm losing probes here, and I'm still making. I should still be making stalkers, but I'm not. Making a cannon of my own, and here finally the photon overcharge comes in. That's going to save the day. What I don't do here is target fire the Nexus, which is something that I should have done, and I think in a bit I do it, but right now I just let it do its thing, which of course it would have been better to kill this one, and not the one far away. This was pointed out to me by ES, one of my friends, and also frequent commenters on my channel. To all you regular watchers, hello, and look at this, me beating the cannon rush, or well, beating it. It's I have just lost the geyser, and my stalkers are at low hit points. Fortunately, the photon overcharged Nexus is doing a good job of pushing back a little bit. I've got 4 stalkers now out and the mothership core, and these 2 forward cannons cannot be allowed to go down at any price. So these stalkers are going to get these down, and the probe dies here. So he cannot be building any more. But in chasing the probe, these ones got left unattended. So these 4 stalkers are going to deal with this, even though it's going to cost them their life. This one is the last one left, and this is also the last cannon left. So this one here is going to reinforce it. Please go away. Show me. I was talking about stalker micro. 4 hit points. Rather do it when the shields go down. But still, the cannon threat has been averted once again. I have lost a few workers, but my economy is still very well. I'm at 23 of 24 probes on minerals. I can re-establish this gas. I'm getting upgrades. I have warp gate done. I'm getting stalkers. I'm getting blink. Basically, everything is on track, and I have a feeling my opponent lost a lot more than I did. If we look at the units lost tab, that is indeed the case. So, if we look at the units tab, just really quickly, I'm only 6 probes ahead. So my lead isn't huge, but I'm not losing at this point anyway. So my feeling about the game was fairly spot on. And because he's invested in this, and I'm guessing him not to have that big of an army, I'm going to go for an expansion. I reckon that'll be fairly safe. This is a stupid warp in. I warp in range of the cannons, but the cannons just managed to strip exactly his shields. So his the shields are combat tested now, and he's not going to be doing anything. Mothership core has regenerated enough energy to overcharge the Nexus, which is going to go to town on these last cannons. This range is just so beautiful. It's got a 13 range, which means it can shoot almost anything. Putting down a pylon here, which I did a little bit ago. I was thinking if this proves to be unmanageable, I can warp in units there. Look, now I've got a few stalkers and I'm going to micro them away. I do have blink at this point, but I didn't realize it. I justified it to say I wanted to hide the blink from my opponent, but yeah, it's not really the case. I just forgot I had it. So anyway, just walking stalkers are good enough to micro against cannons. They're not that mobile. They're not that cunning. Got 2 stalkers of my own because for some reason I felt that after his failed cannon rush, Dark Templar would be something that Loriak would be apt to do. For as we all know, cheese transitions very well into cheese. So I've got 2 cannons of my own here to guard against that, and my mothership core is going to move out together with these stalkers. I saw he got an army composed of a Void Ray and some Zealots, which I feel my Blink Stalker army will do very well against. So I'm going to do one more round of Warpins here and then see if I can make something happen by knocking on his front door. My expansion is going down in the meantime, so it's a good time to put some pressure on anyway, because if we're making him afraid, making him spend his army, he's not going to be able to harass or attack me. That's the thinking there at any rate. So the expansion does, the probes are on their way, there's a nice efficient transfer. And I think here is about the last round of warpins. Mothership core gets here. Of course the mothership core is important because then I could blink up the ramp here or do a time warp or a recall. Although I don't have any energy for those things, only a time warp. So I'm at 1 weapons upgrade. He does not have any upgrades. So I'm going to try my blink micro here. The stalkers that get damaged are going to move away. But he has the photon overcharge on the Nexus, which is just a little bit too much, and unfortunately here I lose the mothership core. So I'm going to try and snipe his mothership core as well, so at least the next wave of attacks won't have to contend with this photon overcharge, because if he rebuilds his mothership core, it's not going to have enough energy immediately to do the photon overcharge. So now I just have to wait until this one runs out, because my army is vastly superior to his. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild my own mothership core, fly it over there, and when that happens I'm going to do another attack. In the meantime, making more pylons, of course, getting more gas, getting more probes, getting more stalkers, getting more awesome. So, armor upgrades going down here, and weapon upgrades as well, of course. So we're going to be at 1-1 fairly soon. Oh, we're at 2 2-0 already. I'm even better than I know myself, so it's so great. 3 weapons going down here, 1 armor. I don't. If I have a choice, if I get 1 forge before I get double forge, I'm going to go 2-0 on the weapons before I'm going to go 1-1. I just like the weapons upgrades better than the armor upgrades, and the fact that the first armor upgrade is a little bit cheaper, so it costs like half a unit less, doesn't outweigh that fact for me. I just like my weapons to be strong, because, you know, as they say, good offense is also something with defense. Who cares? I just want to shoot stuff. So, my rebuilt mothership core gets here. I've got, well, a few stalkers. Fortunately, we have a unit tab for it. I've got 22 stalkers to his less than that. So at this point, I'm feeling fairly confident. I'm out upgrading him, and here I see a lot of Phoenix from him, which really surprised me, because Phoenix are not that great against stalkers. In fact, not really that great at all versus ground. He's throwing down a time warp, but everything he has been discarded already. Didn't even have to use the blink micro, so I'm just going to go for a manner blink and shoot the nexus from the other bit a little bit. And he sees the futility of his efforts and throws in a GG, which I'm very happy about, because I GG back, defeated the cannon rush, and something way more important, that this suddenly silver stuff is no more, because now I'm a gold player. So I am now a glorious goldie. Grievously gold. No, I'll have to figure out something else to call my series, because suddenly silver isn't going to cut it anymore, because no more. Right, this was the game for today. Have a nice Friday and a good weekend after that. Thanks for watching, and as always, I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.